Tell you a quick story. Welcome to the podcast, by the way. It's Mr. Joyrider In, a Jeep Scrambler podcast brought to you, of course, by our good friends at Jeep. You got the contract for Jeep, right?
Yep. And if you see someone in a Jeep, you got to wave to them.
Yeah, even if you don't have a Jeep, just wave to them because they're all about it. They're like, hey, I got a Jeep, hey, you know.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's exactly.
But you're showing you recognize them because they're in a superior vehicle.
So this is going to be amazing. It's our annual video game awards. Now, here's the thing. It's not going to be an award show where we talk about new games like Red Dead Dawn Redemption 2, because quite frankly, we're a little old for those games.
I know this Elden Ring everyone's playing. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Is that the one that you got to take the Mordor and throw into the fires of Mordor?
It's fantasy, like your love life, but it's like it's kind of, now it's similar in that vein, in that genre. It's like fighting and fantasy, but the thing about it is everyone says it's super hard.
Yeah. Hey.
but everyone says, apparently that's the thing now, like Dark Souls, like there's even a category like frustrating gaming. Why would you want that?
Yeah, isn't life frustrating enough? But then again, going back to the early days of gaming, which is what we're going to mostly discuss for the first portion of this anyway. I would say that games like Ghosts and Ghouls, Super Ghost and Ghouls, Ghost and Goblins, games like those were all very frustrating games. They're very frustrating.
They actually were, now that you mention it. And I kept playing it. Ghosts and Goblins, I think I could only get into level 2.
Let me go on a rant here for a second. Here's what I really dislike. And as you can tell, I'm a very positive person. I very rarely complain. But here's something I really dislike that people do about old video games. Like, especially I'm talking like Atari games, stuff like that. And even Nintendo to a point, even some of the classics. But I don't know why I do that. It's a Tom Likas impression, and so all of a sudden I just do a Tom Likas impression for no reason. But no, they'll say like, "Oh, these games, I don't know how you can play this game. Throw this one away. Oh, if I got this for my Christmas present, I'd be shitting on the floor. I'm just so upset about it." But here's the thing. Here's the thing. How many games did we have? 12. My point is, yeah, we didn't have access to the entire world of video games where you can download them from the internet and, play every game that ever there was. It's not really fair to judge the things of the past with a modern lens. I'm talking about games here.
What game are you talking about?
Ghosts and Goblins. The Ghosts and Goblins of history, which would be our racism.
KKK.
Yes, and our anti-Semitism. Our anti-science, anti-aircraft carrier, aircraft missiles.
Yeah, I know. Being held hostage by the woke agenda. Say whatever you want. So Ghosts and Goblins was pretty hard. Yeah. See, actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, I was speaking as if it's a whole new genre, but I guess it's really not. Like there's a lot of games that have been really hard and really horrible, like that crappy ET game for Atari.
Yeah, right. Or like your favorite Ghostbusters for NES.
Oh, that was hard.
You loved that game. It's all you ever talked about.
It was horrible. You just drove around.
Yeah.
You got a ghost. I don't even know what the goal was. That was a hard one, but there was something about it that kept drawing me in. A friend of ours that we haven't seen in 8 million years, John Grooms, he's recently posted about trying to complete the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nintendo, the NES.
Yeah. And see, that's another game that has this reputation of being not just, this is what I hear people saying, not just NES hard, because they call it NES. It just drives me crazy when they say SNES.
Are you serious?
That it drives me crazy?
No, someone has actually used the term NES hard.
Yeah. It's NES hard. I'm not making that up. It really is. And they say it's not NES hard. It's just plain hard. It's unfair. This game is unfair. And it's one of the worst games of all time. The fact of the matter is, yeah, it's a hard game. But when you were
beat that one.
Yeah, I know. So 6 years old, you're playing for 9 hours a day. What do you get? You've got a choice between a Sesame Street bathtub game. You got Ghostbusters.
It was a good one.
Or you've got the Turtles. I mean, and so you spend your time playing the one that's, that you enjoy the most.
Do you fight with people on Reddit?
I do not.
Do you?
Twitter.
Are you lying?
I fight with people on Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't. My Reddit account is completely bare. It's completely. I will write responses sometimes, and then I'll delete them immediately. Or I will delete. I won't even hit send because I'm like, well, it's not worth it.
No, it's I know it's all rich pageantry. So we're on this podcast, we're planning to discuss the history of video games and then having our own video game awards. Best Nintendo game, best Super Nintendo game, best Nat Geo game, best Sega Genesis game,
best console,
best controller.
Oh, that one's not on my list, but yes, that's advantage by far.
Best audio, best water level,
best character design,
best characters, best game based on a movie, best game based on a book.
Yeah.
Best remake. So this award show is probably gonna be like 4 or 5 hours long.
Maybe we should just change the focus of the podcast from nonsense to just getting this damn award show done. It'll be 9 episodes. It'll be great.
Maybe you should shut up.
Maybe so. So what was your earliest video game memory? Mine, I think, has got to be playing Atari 2600, of course. I have memories of my uncle. We had to call him Uncle Fingers. I don't want to talk about it, but he would bring over, he had Coleco, and then he had like the tape adapter where he had Dragon's Lair on there, and although it was in black and white and it's very small, it was still like, wow, I can't believe it. Those are some of my earliest memories. What about yourself? Is it playing the Ghostbusters game?
No, it's actually long before that, and I haven't thought about it until now. But it was actually in television that my parents had that I suppose my dad got to play, but he didn't really play it much. And it was like that circular. The controller was like a remote control with a wire attached to it, and it had like a plastic disc.
Yeah.
And I remember playing blackjack. with I'm not joking. I think blackjack was the first video game I ever played. I guess when I was maybe 4 or 5.
Wow.
Which is sad. It's
sad. No wonder the life of debauchery. Did you know the rules of blackjack when you were 4 years old? Because that's pretty impressive.
I learned it.
Wow.
And my dad was sitting there with a cigarette, like, yeah. No, he didn't say no. He wasn't around a lot. No. And also Snafu, the game where the snakes eat each other, which is a lot like a metaphor for life.
Yeah, that is the Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that part of the boob. It's like the pink round, the round part.
The part I don't care for.
Yeah. So I think in television, but so I have vague memories of that, but my best first memory was of getting the Nintendo Entertainment System
right
as a child for Christmas. I'm guessing 84, 85, maybe even 86.
Well, yeah, it would have to be. It didn't come out in America until 86. It had to be 86.
Oh, well, then there we go, 86.
Yeah, it was released, of course, as you guys know this, it was released in Japan as the Famicom, the family computer, and that came out in 1983, all the way back to 83. That's why a lot of the early games were, the black box games, Donkey Kong, and games like that, Ice Climber, games like that. And then it finally released in America in 1986. And I think that you were one of the first people on the block, like Jenny, to have a Nintendo, if I recall. Because do you remember my brother buying an Atari 7800 because he didn't want to cheat on Atari and buy Nintendo?
Did he?
Yeah. We had an Atari 7800 because he would not buy Nintendo because he was loyal to Atari to the bitter
I can kind of respect that. I remember, so Nintendo was my first console. Now, because you're 2 years older than me, and Jody is what, 2 years older than you?
4.
Oh my goodness,
But he's an old man. He's
so,
almost 50.
So you had the Atari, and I remember coming over because I got my Nintendo, and I remember coming over and secretly judging you, like, you little piece of shit. You got the Atari, you got to slam that in the top. It's all dusty and dirty, and I got my Nintendo. That's all.
Wow. What a dick.
Yeah. You didn't. Yeah, really. I was a dick kid.
Well, okay. All right, hold on. So the very first console we had was not the Atari. Very first console, I'll just run through it. Was called the Studio 2. It was by RCA, and it was a cartridge-based system, all black and white, no sound. The only sound that in it came out of a speaker that was on the unit itself, and even then it could only, bleep, 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 bloop, 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 like John Hammond would say. And the only game I remember on there, it did have blackjack and those types of games, and it had Pong, which I've never liked Pong or Breakout. We'll talk about that later. Or Arachnophobia.
Too stressful.
Yeah, I just don't, if you don't have a rollerball, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so we had that. I remember it had an outlaw game.
I never had that system.
Nobody
but
did.
I remember reading about it, and it was the place to be, because it was like the 70s.
Yeah.
And all of the musicians, Andy Warhol, artists would go there. There would be like drinks, drugs, live. Yeah. I mean, people would like almost basically people basically having sex there, and it was crazy.
I think you must be thinking of the next thing I was going to talk about, which was the Atari 2600.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. The Atari, Atari 2600. We had a lot of games for that. My grandfather had the Sears version. I recall that. And cool. But this is the thing, man. Everybody, in 1980, 1981, everybody had an Atari 2600, and we all, we played them, and they were a hell of a good time. They were hell of a good.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is? You just mentioned Sears, but yeah, they were like sold like it's Sears, so it's like, I'm gonna go buy some nails, and why don't you grab a video game?
Well, the weird thing about the Sears thing too for the Atari is that it was they took the Atari name off. It was branded Sears Computer System. It's some weird deal they had.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, oh boy, there's so much to talk about. Do you remember do you remember the ColecoVision? And for the ColecoVision, there was an attachment where you could plug Atari games in if you had the attachment.
No.
True story. My dad was house sitting. This is before we even moved to Delaware. My dad was house sitting. He lived in Delaware, house sitting. And we went by to spend the night where he was house sitting. And we broke out their computers and video games for some reason. And
Can I ask you a question real quick?
I wish you would.
Was he house sitting?
Mm-hmm.
Or was he just taking you guys empty house to empty house because you didn't have a place to live? So your dad just drove around looking for empty houses, saying, "Well, this is my buddy Jimmy's house. He's letting us have the place."
Well, it was Peggy. Her name was Peggy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
Does that sound legit? I mean, I never met Peggy. I don't know. So anyway, I remember so this would have been I moved to Delaware in what grade? First grade. So that's what, 6. So I would have been 5, and I remember this video game, this ColecoVision with the Atari attachment. And it had the porno games.
Oh,
and we're I can't read. I'm just popping in the porno game, and we're trying to play. What's going on? You couldn't tell. You didn't know. Not really. You couldn't tell. And we were shooting sperm up into people's mouths.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
I mean, in the game. No, I mean, not at that age.
But wow. So from that to. I know that your family was very liberal and leisurely, which is pretty cool, with rated R movies like RoboCop and super violence and blood and
the double feature RoboCop.
You were sexualized from a very young age.
It could be why I'm so repressed to this day. I'm so oddly repressed. Yeah,
because you're kind of repressed and you get angry, like at sexy stuff, but then you really have to kind of acknowledge you like it, and so I imagine you kill people or burn yourself.
Of course, he's talking about this commercial in general. We'll take a quick break, play this commercial. We'll be right back. Joyrider in a Mambler blah blast coming up.
Thanks for having us this weekend, Mrs. Garcia.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Of course, and thank you guys for these gorgeous flowers. So thoughtful.
Hey, did you bring the condoms?
What's up?
Condoms.
Condor.
Condor. Why would I say condoms?
Condoms, Charlie. She wants to know if you brought any condoms.
Yeah, I brought some.
Eargo, a virtually invisible hearing loss solution with high-quality sound and lifetime support.
Okay, we're back, and it's the pre-show for the Video Game Awards 2022. This is the very first annual, sixth episode, sixth time we've done this. The Video Game Awards, that's coming up. It's going to be it's going to be a happening. Right now, we're kind of just giving you not just the history of video games, but also the history of our games. I'd like to go back to talking to you about the Intellivision. We had the Intellivision later on. You may recall that I blew it up when I plugged Jody's printer adapter into it rather than its own adapter, and it caught on fire.
I don't remember that. Was I there?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was not good. So was it fun? Was there anything on Intellivision that was a good time?
I think there was the snake eating game. I like that. I did like the blackjack, but then there was the snake eating. Oh, Tron.
That's my shit right there.
That was probably my favorite. You had to shoot the little laser in that machine up in through like its little hole.
No, that was Beat 'em and Eat 'em, the game I was playing. Atari game.
Was that really called Beat 'em and Eat 'em?
It was. Yes. Tron. Now there was a 2600. There was two Tron games. One was the Tron's Deadly Discs, which Jody, my brother, adapted into a game where he threw frisbees at us.
And then there was that really disgusting, immature satire game you programmed years later.
Oh yeah,
Tron's Deadly Dicks.
Yep. Yeah.
That was too easy. I'm not proud of myself.
No, it was a passion project, and I did get a cease and desist from Disney, of course. But I may have spent 3 years of my life figuring out how to do that. But you
couldn't even tell they were dicks because it was just pixelated.
Exactly, but the title kind of gave it away. They knew where we were headed with that. They didn't think it was. By the way, I wanted to say, I know I'm all over the place. It's just my nature, but we were going to dedicate this program, like we do all the shows, to the memory of Big Dick Dudley, the wrestler. Could you say a few words about him?
Yeah, he was kind of a guy that was always in the background. You wouldn't really think about him if you were to just start naming off the legends of the business,
right?
But he was consistent. He was always on time. He was always professional.
Big.
He would hang out with the boys. He wasn't too cool for the room. He would talk to fans. He would sign autographs.
Oh,
he was a good dude.
I just thought of something about that. His name, that's like an innuendo. I thought they were just calling him Big Space Dick Dudley. His name's Dick Dudley. They call him Big. Hey, it's Big. Hey, Big Dick Dudley. But it could also have sexual connotations.
He had big dick, huge pecker, penis. I'm talking about. He would take it out. You give him a few beers, and he'd take it out. This was back in the 80s, early 90s when people weren't so uptight.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting an email here from Martha Dudley. She's saying stop defaming her husband. I don't think that's defaming. I think that's something to brag about.
What's amazing that you're getting that because this is not being broadcast live. We're recording it. So.
I've been stalking her, so
that's the more impressive part.
We were talking a little bit about of course, I had the Atari 5200, which was my favorite, still my favorite system of all time. You see people bitching about it online, about the controllers and how hard.
I don't see that.
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about
people talking about old Ataris.
Yeah, I do actually. Big Joe Riggs is one of them. I like Cosmic. He talks about like a whole bunch of them. SNES
You all right?
Drunk.
You doing all right?
SNES Drunk is pretty good. Of course,
You doing
there's
okay?
Cinemassacre. I'm getting by.
Yeah. So I do remember your and Jody's love for Atari, and we were one generation apart in the beginning, but then we kind of caught up with each other with the Super Nintendo. Neither one of us had the Genesis, did we?
Well, wait a second. You just jumped right over the Nintendo Entertainment System, though, because I'm
jumping all over the place.
No, what I was going to say was I would never. I don't know if we ever would have bought one because Jody was so hardcore anti-Japanese that he had to have the Atari. But it was going over your place and seeing, going over your place and seeing the Legend of Zelda. You guys might be familiar with that one, yeah. The Legend of Zelda. Seeing you play that. And that's wow. This is some kind of video game system. Nintendo do what Atari don't.
You kept saying this is really. You kept saying this is really wetting my whistle and scratching my itch when I was playing it. I didn't know what you meant.
I said no. I said that this is wetting my beak.
That's what you said.
You remember?
I thought it was something. I thought it was something like that. See, that's funny. Go. I'm sorry, please.
Oh no, I was just going to say a very serious note that is because I was wetting my beak was a reference to Kapori Gabori the owl. So
who's that?
From Zelda. Owl.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I didn't say it in the original Japanese. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that's true.
Please don't do it in offensive Japanese.
So, yes, Zelda.
But
Heinies.
If I recall, once I don't remember, I got the Nintendo first, and then you got it. But once you did get it, you got games with a vengeance, causing once again me being a little asshole kid, to be literally green with envy because you get games that I wanted.
Well, here's the thing about that. Okay, well, when I remember even where we got the Nintendo, we got it at James Way, and when we got it, it was one of the it was the Power Pack or some nonsense, and it came with, you guys will know this one, Super Mario Bros. Right? Super Mario Bros. Huh? Now let me say this: it's brothers. Everyone who says bros, I hate. But yeah, dude, I remember staying up all night as it had to be like 1987. So as a 9-year-old playing, I was just wowed by it. But I still suck at that game. I've never been good at that game.
The original Super Mario Brothers?
Oh yes, SMB 1.
You suck. But didn't that also come with the Duck Hunt and that robot?
Well, we never had the robot. I know that one of your favorite things to do, you got the robot. And it didn't work exactly like you had hoped. Like it wasn't walking around giving you beers like in Rocky. So you guys took it back to the store and you said, "I don't want this."
I don't want this. I've seen what it has to. I've seen what it does and what it has to offer, and we don't want this. We don't want this in our house. Didn't you call me once to come out and play? And I said I can't. I'm busy. I was playing Nintendo.
Well, I wouldn't know, would I? Apparently, you have done that. Yes.
It's pretty great.
Super Mario was great. I was never good at it. I'm still not good at
Zelda. Oh, Metroid. I think you got Metroid before I did.
I think so too. And to this day, I'm obsessed with that game. Did you? No, but you got Metroid 2, and I never got Metroid 2
for Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yes, that was fun. I like that. And then we continued. But I know this is jumping ahead a bit, but it's a tease. I'm tickling your ass with a feather. Do you like when I say that?
I do. I wish you would say it more. Actually, we should have called the podcast that, quite frankly.
Let's go. I mean, we'll get to it. Super Metroid is one of the greatest video games ever made.
It's been said that alongside, but you're right, we'll get to it. Don't cancel me. But along with Ocarina or Ocarina of Time, Metroid 3 are the two best video games. I would say Metroid 3 is a pretty damn amazing game, and to this day, I don't buy a lot of video games, but anytime something Metroid comes out, you better believe it's on Daddy Santa's shopping list. I call him Daddy Santa.
Well, that's what they call him in Germany, Papa Santa.
Yeah, no, I call him Daddy Santa, though.
Yeah, don't say that. But so I just remember Nintendo. That's when we both had the same system, and then we would trade games.
Yes.
You got Paperboy. For some reason, I remember a big Paperboy night or a Paperboy weekend.
Yeah, we rented that. That was a rental.
Jaws was a big game.
You had that, not I.
That we played and eventually beat.
You would always bring that over along with the previously mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Secret of the Ooze.
No, that was the movie.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I meant. You'd bring the Laserdisc over all the time. We'd have to watch it.
And where'd you get that big wooden arcade thing that you put the Nintendo in and the TV in?
That is my biggest regret of my entire life.
That you got rid of it?
Yeah, well, I didn't get rid of it. Somebody punched it to death. Could you guys sue?
Was it Jody Morris?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He went all Will Smith on that. He said, keep this Nintendo out of this fucking cabinet.
Jesus. Why do you say that?
I got it at Toys R Us. It was $75. It was so awesome. It was just basically a cabinet that looked like an Atari cabinet, but you had a screen you put over in front of the TV. You had to put a TV inside of it, and then the control deck plugged into the Nintendo. And you could stand up and play games, which was great. I mean, you love playing, Zelda, standing up for 9 hours. Do you remember when I don't want to keep ragging on anybody in particular, but there was someone in my family. We borrowed Zelda 2, and this person erased your save file.
Son of a bitch. Wait, I think I do have vague memories of that. Who was that? Was that a cousin, an uncle?
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, my brother.
Oh, God. That game was hard too. I never beat that game. I don't think
I finally did in 2016. It took that long, but I did. And just to show that game who's boss, I beat it on 4 different systems.
Really?
Yeah, I beat it on the Nintendo, on it's the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition for GameCube, and then I beat it on the Game Boy Advance, and then I beat it on what's it called? NES Remix. Those games.
Did you like when you blocked with your shield, you kind of bounced a little bit? Like bounce backwards?
That
all right?
Yeah, no. So I have this weird connection. I don't even know how to explain it. So you know how that game, when you stab somebody, the numbers come up on their head?
Yes. Yes.
What other game did that? Because I have some memory of playing that game. Jason Elgart was there before he got sexy. And I just remember there being some game. Was it Rambo? Or Rimbaugh, as you call him?
Might have been. Was it Rambo or Rygar? No, it wasn't Rygar. It might have been Rambo. But, it's funny. I wonder if, now that I'm thinking about it, if that was one of the first, RPG, JRPG. Oh, wait, no. Dungeons and Dragons was like the 70s, and they always did that point shit. Never mind. Scratch that.
Oh,
reverse it.
Let me move on. Just jump. Can I jump ahead? Is it okay? Can I jump ahead? Is it okay?
Yeah, I just opened a Steve Weiser.
Have you had his beer?
No, IPA Broken Skull.
Yeah, it's not even real. It's just he prints the labels on and brings them to wrestling shows. It's very sad. I know. You were a huge in the 80s, a huge PC gamer.
I was. And let me first say, I thought you were going to say either a huge fan of the Bone Zone.
Yeah, that's true.
A huge fan of the Rude Dog clothing line. But yes, I did. My father, I guess, had the PC for whatever he was doing.
The only PC anything about your father.
That's true. He almost didn't get it because of that. So I played the the King's Quest and the Space Quest I liked, and some friends in school, David Walker had the Police Quest and Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah,
which was, I remember, like, he had Leisure Suit Larry, and I went over there to watch him play it, and like I was hoping I was going to see some like nudity or sex, like pixelated naughtiness, but it was just all like illusions and like, you know, scantily clad women. So it was a cock.
Yeah. Well, if you're a fan,
Jeez.
if you're a fan of that kind of thing,
I'm not.
I can recommend one of the best games. You got to kind of use your imagination for this one, because it is block art. It is. I mean, you know, it wasn't that advanced graphically, but it was called Beat 'em and Eat 'em.
I heard. Did you know there's like naughty games for the Switch?
I did not know that.
I was looking around for like Switch games, and something came up. It's like a game is like Tetris, but just as you get the blocks down, there's a naked woman, anime woman behind it.
Oh, really?
Why would someone get that? I mean, it's 2022. You can either just get porn online or play the actual Tetris.
Yes.
So
but I would imagine the person that would buy that kind of thing, that, you know, they're not. You can't do them both at the same time.
That's true.
I think it's probably the thrill of uncovering what's the forbidden.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like back in the day, like, you know, women in the 50s and 60s, it was sexier because a woman is sexier with clothes because you're just imagining what's underneath. It's like Jaws. You didn't see the shark. It's like you have to use your imagination.
So you're
That's why I always compare sexy women in clothes to Jaws.
The sharks and claspers. So if I follow you, what you're saying is that if a woman's out, she's jogging, she's got, you know, a jogging outfit on, but maybe a bare midriff and all that. You're saying what? That she's I'm
not saying that she's asking for it.
Okay.
Is that what you're implying?
I don't know what I was implying. I was lost in the imagery of this girl jogging. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, me too. All right.
What?
Oh, sorry. I got it.
Ow.
No, that was me. That was me talking to her. That's how I talk to women. Hey. How you doing, beautiful? It's
Jerry Lewis
or Prince. I think I've turned into Prince.
No, you're not.
Hey, everybody. It's me. I'm Prince.
You'll never be Prince.
I don't like it when comedians who do impressions, when they say what person they are. All right, well, it's me, Owen Wilson. Whoever says it. Oh, do you ever go into it's me, Brian Clymer. Of course you don't. Why do they say that? It's the worst impression ever. I don't think any time, Donald Trump says, hey, it's me, Donald Trump. I got to tell you something. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something funny. So I like to follow politics and pop culture, and there's this one horrible far right cartoonist. I think his name is Ben Harrison or something or other. We looked up after the show. He makes these cartoons like skewering the left.
Oh, we should get him for the show.
We should.
Yeah.
But whenever he draws someone, he has them wearing a button that says their name on it. Because he's such a shitty artist.
That's awesome.
Because, in real life, could you please get a button with me?
That's amazing. Oh, Lord. Yep. So if you're just joining us, this is the Joy Scrambler in a Cock Rider podcast. And we are doing today, it's the 5th annual first edition of our video game awards of all time. We're ranking the best Atari games, best Nintendo games, best NES games, best Super Nintendo, or you might know them as SNES, most SNES games. And we got them all. Can we touch on a little bit? I wanted to pick your brain on some of these old arcade games, because I don't know. I just would like to hear your feelings on some of these games. This came to me when I realized this week that I fucking hate Space Invaders. It's the worst shit game ever. Sir? All right, well, I guess that'll do it. That's all the time we got for the podcast. I guess we're done. I guess we're done now. I don't.
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
I was trying to. I didn't want to, I didn't want to ruin the flow of the show. So I was trying to defecate. I think I hit the wrong button.
I think that you've been doing that for about 45 minutes. I think you should probably
shitting all over this podcast.
yeah. I thought it's funny because I was talking about how much I hate asteroids, and then you were gone. I thought, or not asteroids. What is it called? Space Invaders. And I thought you were like, fuck that. Yo, man, I got the all-time high score on Twin Galaxies Space Invaders. Fuck you.
Space Invaders was okay.
All right, let's check. That's the first on the list. That was the 1978 Game of the Year best-selling. Next up, okay, yeah, I touched on this a little bit, but you didn't get a chance to. Games like Super Breakout, games like Arachnoid. What's it called? Arkanoid. Do you like those types of Pong? Are you a fan of those types of games? Bouncing a ball?
I have to admit, kind of. I think for Game Boy there was the Alleyway.
Yes.
And I did kind of like it. It was kind of, what is satisfying? It was satisfying when you got the ball up between a bunch of blocks and the wall, so it would go like go up and then get stuck at top.
Yeah,
that was I like that.
I liked on the Atari version Super Breakout. It was a cool like rainbow colored thing. It was just cool looking. Yeah. I like it. Okay, Lunar Lander battles. Oh, how about Centipede? Now Centipede's legit one of my favorites. Millipede's even better. I love that game. It's a pain in the ass in the arcade though, because you get your skin caught in the rollerball. What did you have any memories of Centipede?
Not a big fan.
Okay, Defender's up next. I don't think either of us really spent too much time on that one. Yes, 1980 Game of the Year. It's called. Here, let me paint a picture for you. You're a gun turret, right? And you've got to protect your cities from incoming nuclear bombs.
Yes.
That game,
a lighthearted game for a child.
That game was released when I was 2. Thank you for all that. I appreciate it.
That was I liked. I liked that game.
Let's go to Pac-Man. Oh yeah, I hear you. That got a big response. Everybody loves
Pac-Man.
Yeah. What about you? Now, I have a friend who won't play Pac-Man because it's too stressful.
No, I'll play it. I like it. I mean, I don't love it or I'm obsessed with it, but if it's there, I'll play it. If I just happen to be in a room and Pac-Man's there.
Yeah, for real. I would download the app. I play the Google Doodle sometimes. Let's move on to
what I don't think is appropriate.
Yeah,
is that whenever you have your campaigns, you're for political campaigns.
Yeah,
and you have to before you get your campaign, you have to raise the money and get the voters. So you make your super PAC.
Yeah, super.
And you keep referring to yourself as Super Pac-Man because you raised so much money during the fundraisers.
Well, Super Pac-Man was very cool because you ate a giant power pellet and you became gigantic. And this is years, you got to understand, before giant Super Mario, in Super Mario.
Yeah.
Years before that, this monster Pac-Man was eating the shit out of everybody. It was fucking crazy.
Cool. It was very satisfying. It was like you had power.
How about this one? I don't know. Did you ever play Tempest in the arcade?
Which one was that?
Tempest, they had it at Newcastle Square Mall. It was a vector graphic where you kind of went around in a circle. It had a knob on it. You go around in a circle and you shoot spaceships that are inside the cluster, and they would kind of like be around. What else game they had there at the arcade? They had these vector Star Wars game.
Oh, the Death Star trench.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
a good
what
one.
I call my bedroom.
How so? I would say more that's like the uterus.
Condoms, Charlie.
Wait, what's the uterus?
Because you've got to go in a secret hole. That's called the butt.
Did you know? I don't know about you. And this is going to go off topic, but a woman, I always just referred to a woman's whole area down there as the vagina. I'd be like, hey, it's a vagina, the whole thing. But do you know there's like a urethra? There's like other holes down there.
There's a whole ecosystem down there.
It's ridiculous.
You know,
I think Starship Troopers described it best.
You need to have a biological cartographer down there to figure out what's going on. So what I do is I just close my eyes and hope for the best. And sometimes sometimes it works. Sometimes I'm fucking a doorknob. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah.
What did Star Trek Troopers say?
Remember the thing?
Yeah.
They didn't say anything, but the big monster.
Oh yeah.
At the end.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought they had some kind of slogan.
Yeah, the vagina is complicated. Starship Troopers opening Friday. Starship Troopers, the vagina is complicated.
Yep, that was a good movie.
That would have brought in people.
I think it did pretty well on its own.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven knew what he was doing.
Oh, jumping up the list, two different movies I want to talk to you about. Dragon's Lair, which I touched on before, and Spy Hunter, which is different from MILF Hunter, the website you're always on. What can you give me your thoughts on those?
Spy Hunter, you had and I loved. That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon's Lair was to circle back to what we were talking to before, like one of those just super hard, frustrating games because you got hit once and you died. But it was the first, I believe, of its kind to have the actual cartoon movie style movie equivalent animation as a video game.
Yeah,
I believe Don Bluth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially designed laser discs is how they accomplished that. And Miss Don Bluth. You know they make that on those minis now, the little stupid little cabinets you can buy, the ones like $25. They make a Dragon's Lair.
Yeah,
you knew that?
I didn't know that, but I'm not interested.
I
won't be getting it.
Oh, now we're getting into some of the favorites, okay? And again, these aren't the awards, everybody. This is just us just pre-show. So how about this? I'll paint the picture for you.
Okay, do it.
Georgie is there. George is there. Ralph is there. Lizzie is there. You've got a slew of buildings. You're in the Newcastle Square Mall arcade. On one hand, you're on one hand, you're pumping in quarters like it's going out of style, shoving in quarters. On the other hand, there's another guy who's actually better at the game, who's just playing. And man, the game was called
Rampage.
You got it. Tell us about your memories about Rampage.
That's a good one. I mean, that was just full-fledged fun and chaos and anarchy. You're a big monster. You're just smashing buildings, eating people, spitting fire, punching planes.
Spitting nails.
Just spitting nails.
Yeah.
No, you said that's you get so mad you're reading them morning paper.
Oh, that what I meant to say was eating lightning and crapping thunder. Is what I meant to say.
Rampage was just pure fun. I remember in the arcade. I remember the version. It was just, It's good. I love Rampage.
I imagine somebody's feeding you grapes. Is what I think. Oh, hold on! I've got to masticate. So yeah,
it's Saturday night,
and it feeling all right.
All right for fighting.
Have you been to an arcade within the last 10 years?
I guess that Family Fun Center they take Henry to. I told you has that Jurassic Park. I wasn't being aggressive. I told you.
I told you that it's Jurassic Park.
Yes, asshole. It has the Jurassic Park shooting game. There's a Halo, which apparently is in the arcade game now.
Weird.
But they still have the classic games like the Miss Pac-Man and that thing they had at Boardwalks where you put the quarter in and all those quarters are right on the edge of the thing and like they fall or they either press the other ones off or they just go on top of the other ones. And yeah, I don't like it.
Last arcade that I went to, I mean, they had Luigi's Mansion, the arcade game. I had no idea.
What?
Yeah, and it's a rail shooter where you have the vacuum as your gun and you're holding onto the vacuum thing. And I pumped enough money into that to beat it because I figured I don't think I'll ever be able to see that again. I didn't need it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
But did you ever do Disney Quest?
No. What is that?
That was the big four-story arcade that was in downtown Disney, and you had to pay like $40 to get in, but you could spend the whole day there and you could play all the games. And I was there the year before it closed. It's now closed. But man, they had a floor that had all these classic games, like Moon Patrol was there and Joust and all that, and the original version of Mighty Bomb Jack, just called Bomb Jack. But they had the next game that I wanted to bring to your attention and get your take on, what many call the best game of all time, the Donkey Kong.
Oh, the Donkey Kong. Everyone loves the Donkey Kong. I believe I was first introduced to Donkey Kong through you.
Probably.
Since we already discussed, you had the Atari systems and I started with Nintendo. But yes, you gotta love Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
Was there a third Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong 3? Yeah, that was the one where you were not Mario, if you will. You were somebody else. I forget his name. But Donkey Kong was.
I like the Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong was on top of like a garden thing, and he threw flowers at you or some shit, and bugs were there, and you had to use your DDT.
Oh yes,
yeah. Donkey Kong was great. The reason why I mentioned the Disney thing is because they had the Japanese only sequel to Donkey Kong 2, at that arcade.
Electric Boogaloo.
It had levels you've never seen before. It would have blown your mind.
I would love to have seen it. You said they took it down?
It's gone now. It's like a NBA something or other now.
So why would you even tell me to get my hopes up if I can't play it?
Which one?
Do you know they made, I think, for Super Nintendo, a collection of all three Donkey Kongs?
Really?
Yeah.
They can do that?
Yes. And you know what? I just realized something. We're still on Atari. This is going to have to be like a several week special, which we should do because it's hilarious. But I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. Speaking of Donkey Kong,
to my big Donkey Dong. Come on, that's great. Thanks.
I'm gonna give a little tease on where we may get later.
Mm-hmm.
Tickle your ass with a feather.
We should just stay and do like 12 hours.
So Donkey Kong had a resurgence in the 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a game for Super Nintendo called Donkey Kong Country.
What was that like?
Well, it was Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong running around doing stuff. And a certain Blockbuster Video in Newcastle, Delaware had a Super Nintendo Championship tournament.
It was Super Nintendo?
So, yes.
Oh, well, no, this is a big deal. It's a big reveal.
We're gonna wait. Let's just wait. We'll tease it.
All right, I'll tease it by saying this. All right, he's acting like, oh, tell me about this video game. Oh, we got ourselves a ringer. All right, we got a ringer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Stop.
No, this guy.
Stop.
I'm just saying, this guy.
Stop it.
Crazy. Violent Commando was an arcade game that for some reason at the Newcastle Square Mall, which is the only place I've ever been, it was it was free. You could play the game all day long.
What? Really?
Yeah. I guess they had this flip switch, zip switched, flip switched, the dip switch.
My favorite thing about the Newcastle Square Mall that it was dark and desolate and sad.
Yeah, the pizza was good though.
Oh, yeah.
I got a 3rd-degree burn on my leg for that pizza.
Jesus, did you?
Yeah, it slid off. I was wearing shorts because it's the 80s, and they were the green shorts with the white trim. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They were like nylon. Anyway, so I was eating pizza because I've always done that, and I dropped it, and the pizza slid right off. The cheese slid right off and landed on my leg. Burnt the ever living hell out of them.
These days you gotta suit them. That's what the problem these days is. That probably toughened you up. You probably liked it, didn't you?
Do you know? What's your opinion on the original Now you'll know this game is is always one of my favorites for some reason. Not now. Gauntlet. Here I'm talking about. It was an arcade game, 4 different players. You could be. I'm not talking about the arm weapon thing. I'm talking about the game.
What I remember about Gauntlet is you and Jody loved it and played it nonstop.
Yeah,
loved it. I liked it. You and Jody played it. I dare say, multiplayer game. That was probably your and Jody's favorite game.
Let me tell you why. There's a reason for this. This is going to blow your mind. All of my favorite games were games that I could play with my brother. I always liked the 2-player games at the same time, and there weren't that many arcade games where you could play 2 players at the same time. So we like to we like to play. I like to play those games where we could play 2 at the same time, and yeah, I mean that's I would say that's the big motivation behind liking a terrible shit game like that.
Maybe Jody will listen to this podcast.
Who's Jody?
Hey, ready for this?
Yeah. You want to know? Can I just hold on a second? Hold on. Just stop for a second. I had somewhere I was going with that story that wasn't going to be a sincere story, and I don't know. I just lost it. Halfway through, it ran the hell away. Now you were going to do some impressions of the soundtrack to Gauntlet, I believe.
Yeah, well, yes. It's hard. What was it? That's about it. You ate meat.
No, they would say, "Red Valkyrie needs food badly."
Yeah, that was. It was a. I liked it. I liked it.
Oh man,
I like.
Look, man, it talked. Any game that talked back then was fucking mind-blowing. You're playing a game and it's like, yo, and you never heard anything like that before. It blew your fucking mind. It blew it the fuck off your fucking head.
That was good. Did you never beat Gauntlet? Wait, they couldn't be beaten, could it? Was it just levels?
I think that it there's like 76 levels or something. And then I think it might be one of those games, at least an NES version, where it just loops the beginning, kind of, that old chestnut.
So much like you in the boudoir,
yeah,
there's a very anticlimactic ending.
It's been an hour already. This has been fantastic. Well,
we only covered Atari and early Nintendo.
Oh no, we touched on some arcades too. We did. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Gosh, darn it! Before we go, let me rewind it back to where I was talking about the my brother. All right. Yeah. So any game that we could play together, I'm talking Star Raiders. I'm talking any cooperative games like that. I always wanted to play with. But you wouldn't know, Brian. You wouldn't, of course, understand that because not having a brother, you would not know what that was like. But having a brother,
yeah.
We like to get two. Anyway, that was the whole joke.
I was always kind of jealous that like you had a brother because I was like an only child, so I would go hang out with you and Jody, and you were, my brothers almost.
Yeah, oh, totally. Yeah, I know. I adopted for sure, man. Newcastle solid, man. Every time, every time. The other piece of information that slipped my mind. You were talking about Knight Rider. No, what the hell game are you talking about? You said it was very hard. Way back though. Ghostbusters.
No. What about I didn't like that. What was the pole position? What was that?
Yeah, pole position was just a racing game. I never liked any racing games. I've never been good.
Neither did I.
All right.
Mario Kart, which again, Super Nintendo. So we'll get there. So let me do some quick calculations real quick.
Can I just mention before you can do the calculations that the guy that programmed Ghostbusters, David fucking Crane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So fucking noodle that one for a while. All right. Like really think about that. Now you were saying some proclamations or
okay. Wait a second. So let's just preview. So we got actual Nintendo proper, Super Nintendo.
Good hammer impression.
Super Nintendo, Genesis, Nat Geo, TurboGrafx 16, Sega CD, computer games, Nintendo 64, the GameCube, so I think we have about 10 weeks left before we cover all these games in the press.
You forgot what handheld games aren't games anymore?
Oh my god, this is so. Are we just? And I'm dead serious. Can we just officially convert this to a video game history podcast?
I think we can. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And if anything else comes up, like if Will Smith attacks anybody else, I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Like if there's another 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's cool. All right, man. Well, any final messages for the people before we get out of here?
No, I'm just excited. You know, it's good things are worth waiting for. So when we get to the award show, for video games, we're gonna have best Atari game, best Nintendo game, best Super Nintendo game, best shooting game, best fighting game, best action game, best RPG, best computer game, best King's Quest, best Space Quest, best Leisure Suit Larry out of the series, best arcade game. It runs the gamut.
Look, I don't want to shoot your wad, but check this out. Best Spider-Man game. Oh yeah.
You know, Bruce Campbell narrated one of those Spider-Man games.
Oh man, okay, we'll talk about that in 7 weeks.
Okay, we'll see you.
The tape machines are rolling good now, everybody.
Good.
I can't. How do you stop this?
Hold on, I can't
get off this thing. I want to get off this merry-go-round. Crack is.
That's a, you shouldn't judge people.
Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes.
Crack is whack?
Yes.
Is crack whack?
No, it's dangerous.
Yeah, and whack.
Yeah. No, I think that's making light of something that kills and hurts a lot of people.
I think that's whack.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Princess Bride.
Yeah. Is that what you said?
1986. Rob Reiner. The Mojus.
He could do no wrong in the 80s, could he?
He could do, look, I mean, he could, well, unless you count his obesity something wrong, then I guess he couldn't do anything wrong.
I mean, alter-wise.
Arthur, that aardvark dude?
No, Arthur 2 on the rocks.
Condoms, Charlie.
She wants to know if you brought any condoms.